Hey guys, it's Kels back at it again with another video, another Friday night live. I promised you that each and every Friday night I will go live and show my face. So here I go, back at it again for week 45. Consistent from the top of the year till now, each and every Friday night, 7 o'clock or thereabouts. We late. Look, we're late, but we're still here. We're still gonna make it do what it do. And we got a juicy topic tonight. Because we had somebody from the collective who wrote in and brought us back to our roots. Brought us back to our roots of talking about dating topics and having your dating drama and your dating tea sent into the collective for me to present to y'all and for us to collectively give advice, chime in, and let you know you're not alone out here in this sometimes crazy living, loving, dating, ascending, leveling up world. We back to our roots. If you guys remember a few years ago, it's probably looking like about 4 or 5 years ago now at this point, we used to go live for our 7-day challenge every single day for 7 days, where you guys would write into the collective and I would bring your dating drama, your dating tea, and we would talk about it. And so that's how we started going live on this channel. And since then, we took a little break. We did some travel content. And then now we've been going live each and every Friday night talking about just ascension and level up topics and current events and things like that. But one of y'all, one member of the collective really wanted to talk about dating, really wanted to get back into the dating topic. And so, I'm never here to disappoint. So we're going to get back into our roots, get back into the dating topic tonight. So there was no voting this week. We just made the executive decision to go ahead and do the dating topic. So whether you're watching us live or if you're watching us a part of a replay gang, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Let me know what you are sipping on, and we'll get into the things. Tonight, per the usual, the doll it's H2O. It's been water for the last probably 2.5 months. And it's just the best thing to lubricate the throat chakra, keep it fresh, keep the mind going, making sure I'm connecting and delivering the right messages on our kickbacks. And so I'm just gonna stick with the water because it's been working good for me. What say you? All right, tonight, what are we gonna cheers to? What are we cheersing to tonight? Tonight we're gonna cheers to new love. We're going to cheers to new paradigm love. We're going to cheers to forces of nature love. We're going to cheers to connection. We're going to cheers to all of that, everything having to do with love and connection, because tonight's going to be a little bit of a pep talk. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you. It's going to be a pep talk tonight because I've been getting too many messages about these people in their 30s freaking out because they're not clink, 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 clink locked down yet. And so, it's going to be a little bit of a pep talk, but I am going to be relatively candid. I'm saying relatively. I'm saying relatively, but I'm going to be relatively candid with y'all about what I really feel about still being single and in the 30s. And then it's gonna have to be a pep talk because you guys know I am like very optimistic. So, and I try to hold that vibration. You guys know last week I said I hold my vibration high as possible, especially during these times when there's so much change happening. I want to make sure I come out on top. So I'm gonna keep with that. And so you guys know I'm very optimistic. And so of course it's gonna have to be a little bit of a pep talk for these 30-year-olds and 35-year-olds and even 40 and 45-year-olds who are still single out here and looking like they about to be miserable because they don't have a boo. We'll talk about it. But first, cheers to new love. Cheers to optimistic forces of nature. Cheers to what else? Cheers to trusting the process. All right, let's cheers to that. Clink, 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 clink. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm seeing Beechwood, Cleveland in the building. I'm seeing Good and Rich. Good and Rich was here last week. What's up, boo? Hey, y'all watching from Beechwood, Cleveland. What's good? Rubes in the building, sipping on red wine this eve and sending the most love. The most love from ATL. Look at that. Cheers, collective. JB sipping on some cold water from Virginia. Good looking out there. Oh, join me. Okay, cheers to the cold water. Clink, 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 clink. Yes. And all of that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're gonna get right into it. I I don't have my feed tonight. Let me see if I could give me 1 second. Let me see if I could just pull up a real feed, a quick feed right here, so that I can make sure that you guys are hearing me and seeing me properly. And then we'll get into the topic because it's going to be a lot of talking tonight. And I know you guys are super, super interested in this topic. And so I don't want to hold you with too much formalities or anything like that. So it's a little bit different this week. It's a little bit different. I see my feed is looking good. It's a little bit different this week because we did not do our voting. You guys know that normally on Thursday nights, I drop 4 topic options over on IG and here on the community tab on YouTube. And then you guys vote for what we're going to talk about. But this week, totally different. We had that write-in. We had that dating drama, dating tea from a collective member, one of our longtime collective members. And so I want to bring that to you guys so we can learn from the collective wisdom of the It's Counts community. Be sure to chime in with your thoughts and your feedback in the chat over on IG. If you're not following me, you should follow me there. There were some write-ins. Some people put their thoughts in as well. Some folks were, married by 35, 2 babies under 2 by 41. We have some of those stories as responses to this that we're going to get in tonight. So check those out over on IG if you're interested to hear what the collective over there has to say about this topic. But let's remind everybody. Let's start off here. Let's remind everybody what the write-in was saying, what she was saying in that is her concern, being 35 and still single. So here's what she's saying. I'm going to read it off my screen over here. She's saying, what are you guys saying here? She's saying, I'm 35. And even though I date and put myself in position, she says she put herself in position to find quality men, it just doesn't seem to increase my chances of being found. I have a good job, good credit, no kids, and I'm not bad looking. I just don't get it. I don't feel seen, loved, or wanted. I'm feeling kind of hopeless at this point, and I get more and more discouraged with each birthday. Sorry to get all emotional. Thanks for responding. Okay. So I definitely responded to her and let her know, you know what, I feel you. No, no need to apologize for being emotional. It is an emotional topic. Love and feeling wanted or seen or loved, that is innately emotional responses there, right? So really no need to feel like, oh, I'm so sorry for getting emotional. And truth be told, I'm okay in emotions and deep emotions. I'm a Scorpio moon, so I'm okay in the deep, dark emotions and being able to still tread water and not drown, basically. So you came to the right person if you want to express emotions, because that is no problem for me. I do have some notes because I have been thinking about this topic for since it came in, which was earlier this week. And I kind of wanted to get my thoughts around it, but I didn't fully write anything out because I kind of want to keep these fresh and off the dome as well. I think where I want to start is I kind of want to go through and look at some of the language. That was written down on this. And I know that this was written in a very emotional state, but one of the first things I want to bring your attention to or your awareness to is where you are emotionally when you're feeling this way, because where you are emotionally very much dictates the results that you are going to get. I'm going to pause right there and say this topic, single and 30, single and 35, I'm single and 40, I'm single and 50, I'm single and 70. This topic is all up and through the internet. It's on podcasts, it's on television shows, it's on The Bachelor, it's on all of that. And everybody always gives this kind of very basic advice. Put yourself out there. You have to be the exact reciprocal of what you want. So if you want somebody 6 figures, then you got to be 6 figures. What do you bring to the table? If you want somebody fit, then you got to be fit. Very basic feedback, very basic, not helpful, been there, done that, old paradigm feedback. That's normally what you hear when we're talking about this. I'm single. What's the problem? What's going on? Tonight, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm no longer interested in talking about the most basic perspective on these common issues. I'm going to try to elevate the conversation a little bit. I'm going to challenge you to be open your mind and open your perspective, and be open to seeing this from a different perspective, not the same old regular things that the people done be usually telling us. Let me turn this down a little bit. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper. We just came through solar eclipse in Scorpio. We're just in the Scorpio season. We're gonna get deep. Okay, let's get deep with it. So that's the disclaimer for this. Okay, so no more shallow. Let's get deep. First things first, I want you to pay attention to the emotional state of the words and the language used in this email. Not to criticize, because I've been here. These words could be in my journal right now. So all of us, who are single, who are like, what is the deal, have been here. So it is not a critical eye. It's not a critical eye that we're looking at this with. It is an awareness. Bring your awareness to the state of your emotions as you express what you're expressing, because where you are emotionally, and I said this at the top of the broadcast about 5 minutes ago, where you are emotionally will dictate the results that you reap. You have to be aware of that. Not only in love situations like this, in work, in life, in fitness, in mental health, in family relationships, in personal development, and any part of your life. How you emotionally feel about something will very much tell you what the results will be. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to y'all. So you have to know that. I don't think, none of us are grown up and told that. They tell us that your logic, what you know, what the science says, what all of this. No, how your emotional state dictates like 99.9% of the results that you're going to get. So let's look at some of the emotions that are pouring out of her and where they are on the vibrational scale. When I say vibrational scale, it's a scale that your emotions are ranked on. So are these on the lower end of the scale? Shame, despair, anger, revenge? Or are these on the higher end of the emotional scale? Joy, bliss, happiness, trust, faith, excitedness? On that spectrum. And then, as you can imagine, there are other, hope, peace, there are other emotions on the scale. But where do these emotions lie on the emotional scale? Are they at the tail end of it, where they're kind of deeper, darker, more sadder emotions? Or are they on a higher side of the scale, more hopeful, more optimistic emotions? Let's look at it. I'm 35. Okay, that's neutral. And even though I date, okay, she dates and she puts herself in position. That's an empowered statement. All right. To find quality men. Oh, okay. Look at that. Standards. She puts herself in position to find quality men. Very empowered statement. I'm liking it. It just doesn't seem to increase my chances of being found. We took a big old curve, didn't it? It was going up. It was sounding empowered. It was sounding optimistic. It just doesn't seem to increase my chances. It plummeted off the side of the cliff. So there's a hopelessness there, right? The emotion, the state is hopelessness. Nothing I do, it just doesn't seem to increase my chances of being found. So there's a hopelessness there. Okay? So be aware of where you are emotionally. There's a hopelessness there. And then there's not only hopelessness, but it's like disempowered. There's a disempowerment there. It just doesn't seem to increase my chances. Nothing I do increases my chances. Okay. Not only chances of being found. So it's gone from putting myself in position to find a quality man to I have to be found. I'm standing here hopeless and waiting to be found. Very disempowered language. How can you change that? How can you recognize that disempowered language is a limiting belief that you need to put some attention into shifting? into shifting. The reason why I go that direction with that is because whenever you want to see a change in your life, an external change in your life, you first have to start with your internal state, an internal awareness of your emotions, an internal awareness of your thinking, of your limiting or empowering beliefs. There are some empowering beliefs here, but it drastically turns within the first sentence to a disempowered, hopeless state. You have to be aware that that's where your thinking is and that's where your emotional body is, because that is your point of attraction. That is your point of attraction. If you are hopeless and disempowered, we will only get hopelessness and disempowerment. We talking about it on an energetic, spiritual level. We not talking about no basic nothing anymore. Let's talk about it if we gonna talk about it. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? What's up, Matthew? Long time no see. What up, boo? Yes. Graham asks also, did you ask God to bring that person into your life? Okay, we're not there yet. We don't have to ask anybody external. Let's talk about our internal state. Let's bring awareness to who we are and where our emotional state is first and foremost. Okay. So it just doesn't seem to increase my chances of being found. Okay. So then she goes on to try to qualify herself with all of these external validations. I have a good job, good credit, no kids, and I'm not bad looking. Okay, these are neutral statements, but really, I guess they're there to try to prove to some external logic or some external justification that she's good enough, that she's deserving, that she's worthy. So there's a worthiness issue there. Does your worthiness come from your job? Does your worthiness come from your good credit? Does your worthiness come from no kids? Does your worthiness come from not bad looking? Or does your worthiness, were you born worthy of love? Were you born worthy of companionship? Were you born worthy, a worthy being, a beloved consciousness? Were you already born beloved and worthy? Or do these external things that you put in on your chest, that you pin on your chest like medals of honor, those make you worthy? Be aware. The reason why I'm speaking this way, and I'm speaking very passionately, again, is not to indict her, is not to criticize her, is to let us think about where we're coming from with these conversations about being single and putting ourselves in position to be attractive to a mate, be attractive to a partner. Okay. So your worthiness, your validation doesn't come from these external things. Just be aware that you have a limiting belief. You may have a limiting belief there that you're only worthy based on your external, what you bring to the table. Is this the truth for you? Do you want that to be your truth? Do you want that to be your truth? If you don't want that to be your truth, if your worthiness is innate, then declare that your worthiness is innate and work on shifting your limiting beliefs. Work on shifting your emotional state around that concept of, where does my worthiness lie? Where does my worthiness come from? External things, college degrees, jobs, credit? Or was I born worthy? Get in your journal and write about these things. Ask yourself, ask the divine, ask God, what's my issue here? How can I make myself feel better here? How can I soothe myself into an idea that serves me better, that brings me comfort? When you're looking at your emotional states and your internal dialogue and your beliefs, your empowering or your limiting beliefs, what you're looking for is to try to soothe yourself. You're trying to move up that vibrational scale. So if you are feeling very disempowered and you're feeling very unworthy and unloved and unseen, what you're trying to do is acknowledge that that's where you are right now. And that's okay, because we've all been there, done that. It might not always be about love. It might be about money. It might not be about money. It might be about career. It might not be about career. It might be about fitness. all of us have an issue in our life where we're on the tail end of that emotional scale, feeling like disempowered, feeling like what the hell, feeling like what is wrong with me? Why can't I make that money? Or why can't I get that job? Or why can't I get this body? Or why can't I find my boo? We've all been there on some of these topics. So if you're on the tail end of the emotional scale for something like love, first things first is you acknowledge where you are on the emotional scale. You recognize that knowing where you are on that emotional scale is important. Knowing where your emotions are, it's important. So you recognize, I'm feeling disempowered. I'm thinking that my validation only comes from good job, good credit, no kids, and not bad looking. So I'm over here on this woe is me side. How do I move my how do I move myself up the emotional scale? You soothe yourself. You find ways, you find beliefs to soothe yourself, to make yourself feel better, and so that you can move yourself up the emotional scale. That's what you're trying to do. Okay? Because as you move yourself up the emotional scale, that's when your manifestations start to come in. So if you're trying to manifest love, we're talking about manifestation here. If you're trying to manifest love in that partner and be attractive to that partner, you need to be in a higher emotional vibrational state. Otherwise, you're going to keep attracting the same woe is me, somebody else who feels like they're unloved, unseen, and only don't bring anything to the table. Right? So that's what we're talking about here. Okay. So I have a good job, I have good credit, no kids, and I'm not bad looking. So all of these external things to try to prove worthiness. Okay. I just don't get it. There's confusion. Where is confusion on the emotional scale? On the low end or the high end? In the middle, confusion is on the low end. Clarity, certainty, decisiveness, excited, that's on the high end. So what you're wanting is, okay, I'm over here, I'm feeling like, I just don't get it. So then what can you do there? You can ask for clarity. Somebody said, did you pray for God? You can pray to God and ask for clarity on it. More clarity. Bring me clarity on this. Why don't I get this? What is the purpose? What is the reason for this? Make it clear to me. This is how you're trying to work with your mental state and your emotional body to move yourself up the vibrational scale. Okay? I just don't get it. So she's feeling confused. She's in a fog. It's indecisive. It's a very uncomfortable place to be. You're wanting to soothe yourself. How do you do that? Okay. She then says, I don't feel seen. I don't feel seen, don't feel loved or wanted. Woo! Child. I don't feel seen. So unseen, unloved, unwanted. This is an abandonment issue. She's feeling abandoned. She's feeling abandoned. This feeling of abandonment might stem from not only finding this partner, but if you really probably look into it, this feeling of abandonment probably stems from childhood. Now, I'm not a therapist, but y'all know I've been in therapy over a year now. So when I see some things get clear, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, there's an abandonment issue here. Not feeling seen, not feeling loved, not feeling wanted. That's a deep-rooted abandonment issue. Perhaps. Not a therapist, but this is what it's sounding like. And so it's that seeking or that wanting for a partner to fill that abandonment wound. There might be some work that needs to be done here, because otherwise you're going to be attracting a partner. If this is where you are positioned emotionally, energetically, you're going to be attracting, if you get in a relationship with a partner or you find one on Hinge or something, they're likely going to be in the same vibrational resonance as you. Like attracts like. So even if you luck out and find somebody, if deep down, if truly this whole time you're searching and you're dating with this big sense of being unloved and unwanted and unseen, what kind of narcissist do you think you're going to end up dating? There might be some work that needs to be done. Pour into yourself, therapy, whatever it is. But there might be some work there that needs to be done. if you're really feeling this. Otherwise, if you don't mind sharp, you end up attracting somebody in the same vibrational state on the inside. Pretty packaging on the outside, I'm sure of it. But on the inside, abandonment. I'm always abandoned, right? It keeps spiraling deeper and deeper into the emotional darkness. I'm feeling kind of hopeless at this point, and I get more and more discouraged with each birthday. This is spiraling. This is spiraling. Okay. Sorry to get all emotional. Thanks for responding. It's emotional, but where are you on the emotional scale? As I said, it's on the darker side. It's on the darker side. And so you have to be aware, as I said at the top of the broadcast, that when you're on the darker side, that's what you're going to attract. And so your work is to figure out how to pour into yourself, how to heal yourself, and be able to move yourself up that vibrational scale, independent of a relationship, independent of a man. So that when you are healed and better and whole and feeling better about yourself as an individual, then who you attract will be more aligned with that whole version of yourself, as opposed to the one that you would attract now, who would be attracted to a little bit of an abandoned, hopeless, disempowered version of yourself. The truth of the matter is that a lot of us who are single, a lot of us, and I will say this, some of us are booed up, married, and some of us are single. And this applies to both. I feel like a lot of us out here come from extremely damaged family dynamics as it relates to love. And whether or not you've managed to find somebody to get married to and you're in the middle of a marriage and damaged and working through it together, or you're single and damaged and trying to figure out how to heal yourself, or try to figure out what's wrong with me, why I can't get somebody, why can't I be in one of those secretly damaged relationships? You know what I mean? Like in any situation that you're in, I feel like the work right now is to recognize where we are vibrationally around love and heal that. A lot of times you're not in a relationship because God or the divine or your higher self or spirit or whatever higher forces you believe in or don't believe in, that's up to you. But whatever higher forces that you source, whatever higher forces are there asking you to heal yourself as a full whole individual first, before you try to run down a relationship and be in the relationship. Because truth be told, and I'm speaking to myself right here, if you get into a relationship, you will probably end up not doing the work that's necessary to heal yourself. You will think that I'm in a relationship, you will be in this crappy relationship thinking that this is how relationships are, and 50% of them end up in divorce, and this and that, and this is how relationship, and men are this and women are that, in a crappy relationship thinking that that's how relationships are to be. No, they're not. Relationships are actually supposed to be great. They're actually supposed to be great, but in order for them to be great, it has to be two whole healed individuals coming in or close to it. Obviously there's going to be growing done in the relationship. There's going to be growing done in a relationship, but there's fundamentals that need to be healed in you before you get clink, booed up, locked down. And that is not to say that the people you see in relationships have done that work. Matter of fact, most of them haven't done a doggone thing. Most of them, this paradigm, this era, they haven't done a doggone thing. They just in that relationship, struggling and striving. And here you go on the outside, single, looking at struggle love, thinking, why am I not deserving of struggle love? Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? How many relationships do you know up close these days that you genuinely admire, that you think, yes, that feels good? Not a lot. Not a lot. What I think we're being asked to do is heal ourselves and bring ourselves back to wholeness within ourselves first, so that you can then attract your highest ideal mate. So by you sitting here thinking, doing it in reverse, thinking that, oh, I will be whole when I get the man, or I will be whole when I get the woman, is a reversal of the process. The process is get yourself to wholeness, to worthiness, to happiness, to joy, to bliss, regardless, so that you are in the best position, the best vibrational state, the best state of happiness, the best state of wholeness to attract your divine counterpart. Not some Ted Greg that you found on Tinder and Hinge that you're running down because you don't want to be single. If you okay with that, that's a listen. To each his own. If you are okay picking up Tom, Dick, and Harry just to say you're not single anymore, by all means, this is a free will. But if you know deep down in your heart that you really are looking for a certain type of love, you know deep down in your heart that you're gonna be miserable in one of these regular ass relationships that you see, then Bill. What do I mean by Bill? It means chill and turn your gaze inward. Turn that searching, frenetic, hopeless, why am I not worthy? Turn that towards you and figure out how you could possibly do some work on yourself, whether it's therapy, whether it's any healing modality, acupuncture, Reiki, working out, yoga, meditation, journaling. Any healing modality. Heal yourself first of some of these emotional issues that you have. And once you heal yourself, the ideology is that you will attract like. Like will attract like. All right. Another thing is divine timing. Divine timing. All of us have this concept that we should be in relationships or married or children by this big clock that you have. And you know what's annoying about that? There's a lot of these reality shows and things on TV that they're doing a fertility, egg preservation, all of this foolishness, and they're doing it for a storyline. They have 30-year-olds doing all kind of shots and drugs and getting all this kind of fertility stuff. And mind you, let me be careful with my words here, because there are some people that truly have that issue. There are some people that are truly struggling with fertility. Acupuncture helps. Acupuncture helps if you're struggling with fertility. Okay. There are people that are truly struggling with fertility, but the majority of us, they just put it on TV for a storyline and they make us think that, oh my God, time is running out, time is running out, time is running out. You're good. You're fertile. You're straight. Don't worry about it. Do you want to have the kid by yourself? You want to raise the jit by yourself? Then by all means. But if you don't, wait. Chill out. Heal yourself first. Do the work that the divine is asking you to do on yourself first. You know what I think? Let me talk personally. Let me speak personally for a second, because, blah, 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 talking all this and not giving any personal circumstances. So let me give a personal circumstance. I genuinely believe for myself that the reason why I am single is there's a couple of reasons. The main one is that the type of love that I'm looking for, the type of love that I am willing to share my life with, is a high ideal. It is very high. It is very high. And I know for sure that if I got into a relationship, married or anything like that, and it wasn't genuinely making me happy, I wasn't finding a way of making myself happy, I would not stay in it. I would be miserable. It is very difficult for me to pretend to be and stay and pretend and do all of this, kids, all of it's very difficult for me. So I know, I'm like, God kind of know. God kind of know that I'm not gonna, I can't just pretend. I'm not one of these people that need to be up under somebody and can't travel or can't live my life independent of a man, right? And so that's one reason why I think, okay, God's like, all right, well, do the work, do all the work then, and then maybe we'll put somebody in your path. I genuinely feel that. I will say that my limiting belief around relationships was this idea that I couldn't fully express the joy of my life, fully live out my life, if not with the companionship of a man. I found that there were certain instances, and there were certain instances, say for instance, buying a house. I bought my house, but I can tell I see there's people around that they feel stuck. It's like their life can't progress unless they have the validation that a man is beside them. And I get that. I get that because I feel like there were certain instances in my life where I didn't even think of it. I just was like, whatever, I want to do that. I want to travel. I want to, all right, I need to buy a house now. Okay, well, I need to buy a car now. Whatever, I got to move my life along. There were certain instances that I didn't even think of that, but there were other instances where it was very clear to me, seeing 333 on the clock, very clear to me that, oh, I'm stifling my progress. I'm not letting myself be my highest joy. I'm not letting myself be my highest thrill. I'm not fully expressing myself in life because I don't have the covering of a man, a physical mortal man. I had to really work on thinking that my covering doesn't come from no physical mortal man. My covering comes from God. It comes from the divine. It comes from my higher self. It comes from source. I really had to work on that because I definitely was thinking, maybe I can't shine so bright, or maybe I can't travel, or maybe I should, like, where is my guy so that I can fully express myself? So essentially, I'm stifling myself. I'm stifling my light. I'm stifling my voice. I'm stifling my joy. I'm stifling my adventurous spirit. I'm stifling who I am, waiting for some mortal man to show up to give me covering. I think this happens a lot with women. I think this happens a lot with women. I think it's something that is groomed into. It's just groomed into us. Is that you're not at liberty. You're not safe. You're not safe to be your most brilliant, lit up, vibrant self unless you can point to some man and call him your husband. Are you okay with that? Is that what you want to live? And if it is, then at least you're aware of it. At least be aware and acknowledge the truth of the situation. That's all I ask. If you're like, yeah, you're right, I definitely don't want to shine, I need the covering of man, then at least you understand that. But I think a lot of us don't quite understand this discomfort of being alone. And it has a lot to do with not being empowered to be yourself without the path being paved for you or laid out for you or some covering by some other man. And I feel like that's a lot of pressure for them. I feel like that's a lot of pressure for them. And that's another reason why why it's like challenging. Relationship statuses are challenging. What else has been an issue for me? So that recognizing that, oh, I'm uncomfortable without that covering, and getting myself to be comfortable with or without that covering. I think that was a part of my healing journey, because I think a lot of times if you go into these relationships not having a clear, distinct view of who you are, you get eaten alive in these relationships, especially when you start having kids and you start having to be absorbed in somebody else's vision for their life, and your vision for your life melts away into the abyss. Are you going to be okay with that? Because you were so unconcerned about building your own self up and your own healing and wholeness up, that you get wrapped up into somebody else's, and half the time they're not fully built either. Because like attracts like. So it's the blind leading the blind. Be aware of these things and don't just run down like, oh my God, I got to be in a relationship, and not fully understanding, what God is asking you to do in your life before you get tied to be some man's wife or to be a husband. Okay. What else has been like issues for me? All right, let me see what else I have here. I haven't been looking in the notes, in the comments. I'm gonna go in the comment in a second, but let me finish my little rant. Let me finish my little rant. Tonight we're talking about 30. I'm 35 and I'm still single. What is wrong? What's the problem? We had a member of the collective write in and express to us some of her emotions around still being single, feeling unloved, unseen, unworthy, and what we can do about that. Tonight, we're talking about it in a little different perspective. We're not giving the same advice of like, do this or do that. We're looking at it from an internal view. We're looking at it from our point of attraction. We're looking at it from our emotional state, where we are on the emotional scale and how we can work to move ourselves up that emotional scale so that we end up attracting and aligning to a partner that is truly who we want from our whole self, as opposed to who we end up from our damaged, abandoned version of ourselves. I feel like the divine has asked all of us to stay single until you figure out how to heal yourself. Stay single until you know yourself, until you know what you want, not what you think you want, not what you've seen the Kardashians put on TV. Look at them. Do you see any of them living any good relationship life? Not a judgment, an observation. Not what you see people have, what you truly want, knowing yourself well enough to know what type of partner would really serve the lifestyle that you're looking for. You could be 35, 45, 55, 65 and still have no idea what you're really looking for. That's the work. And not necessarily making yourself who you're looking for, just having an awareness of what you like in your life so that when you see it, you know it. I know what I like. I know what I want to do. I know what floats my boat. And so when so when I'm fully in that bliss and that happiness, I can attract somebody who is of like mind, similar values. Definitely still working on those limiting beliefs though. Do I need the covering of a man? Am I unworthy if I don't have some man validating me? Some mortal man, I barely know what he doing. Truth be told. And that is not an indictment on men. It's not an indictment on men. We're all out here struggling, trying to figure out what love and relationships are with no firm guidance on anything besides what we hear on the podcast, foolishness. For me, it's all about the internal work first and foremost. Knowing where I am, knowing myself, know thyself, and identifying where I want to go with it, what I truly want. Personal growth. A lot of this is you're asked to do your personal growth before you end up aligned with a partner. Especially again, if you want one of those high ideal loves, those loves that genuinely feel good, that you are genuinely happy in. Not those relationships that feel twingy and like, not really where I want to be, but scared to be alone feeling. Not that. I don't want that. If you're okay with, some of us can be okay with that. It depends on where you are. That's fine. But for me, I never wanted that. So I knew I had to do my personal growth before I was aligned. I knew that. Faith is another thing that I've been working on when it comes to these relationships. And I saw that come through in the comments. Did you ask God? Did you ask God? You don't have to, matter of fact, who said that? Did you ask God to bring the person in your life? Here's the deal. Ask God to make it clear to you what you need to heal in yourself. Turn your gaze from looking at other people and asking God about other people. Ask God about yourself. If you're going to ask God, if you're going to ask the divine spirit, source, your higher beings, your angels, your guides, your ancestors, your guardian angels, if you are going to ask any divine being about anything, ask them about yourself. Ask them what you need to heal, what I need to know now, what I need to bring my awareness to now. How can I put myself in a better position? What do I need to be working on now to better align myself with my mate? Let me tell you something, another personal story. Whenever I would ask about love, when I would ask divine about love, I would get information about my job. And I'm like, why the hell, every time I'm concerned about love, I'm getting feedback about my job? What do my job and my career have to do with love? Could somebody, anybody tell me? 444 on the clock if you're into numbers like I am. Come to find out, as far as I can see, I wasn't on my path career-wise, my ultimate purpose in my life. A big chunk of my life was doing a career that's not on my path, that is not in my purpose, that's not aligned with truly who I am. How do I know that it's not aligned with truly who I am? It doesn't feel good. I don't like it. It's not what I want to do. It's what people told me I should do. Is what them people said you should do after college. So I did it. I was good at it, but in my heart, I hated it. It sucked. So a big chunk of my life was misaligned. It wasn't right. So the message that as I understood it, so whenever I asked about love, I would get this message about my job. What it was saying to me is that you need to work on the biggest chunk of your life first. Having faith in your intuition, following your intuition, trusting your intuition to move you into a job or career that's more aligned with you. So overall, you're more in alignment with your purpose. Then your partner can come in. Then your partner can come in. We don't talk about that. It might seem like foolishness. Oh, how does that make sense? Like, listen, I was saying the same thing too. You preaching to the choir. But when you get the same message over and over and over and over again, and you keep ignoring it, but that don't make sense. And you end up fighting with your intuition and fighting with God and fighting with the divine. Eventually you start listening. And they have said, you're not on your path. And you don't trust your intuition and yourself enough to get yourself on your path. So when you figure out how to trust yourself, love yourself enough to get on your divinely ordained path, then we can talk about putting a partner in your life that will help you on your path. Until then, sit down by yourself. Anybody ever told you that? I'm sure they haven't. That took me years to figure out. Years. And right now, I'm just at the point where I said, okay, all right, let's try it. I am willing to try anything. I'm willing to listen to my intuition and make decisions that don't seem logical, but seem more intuitive. So, okay, change careers. Don't like that, wasn't aligned with me, wasn't making me happy. Let me find what makes me happy, what makes me feel blissful, what makes me feel joyful, what I love. And then let's see if the partner comes into the picture. It's an experiment. You guys have heard me say for several weeks now that this whole era right now is an experimental phase. I've changed everything in my life. I've changed everything because I want to see what happens when I change it. I don't even wake up to the same tune in the morning. The alarm clock sound is different. The incense I burn is different. Hair is different. Clothes is different. Food is different. Water is different. Pills that I take, different. Multivitamins, different. Every single thing is different. Stepping out into the unknown because I want to leave room for something different to come in. Experimental phase. And so as I understand it, for me at least, getting on my path in all areas of my life, not just love life, all areas of my life, career, fitness, those types of things, relationships, boundaries in other relationships, getting those all aligned to who I am, in the hopes of being in alignment in everywhere else in my life will automatically let that alignment come in for my ideal partner. And again, who I want for my partner is not some regular degular. I'm sorry, it's not. So that means I'm gonna have to tighten up, and I'm willing to do that work. I'm willing to do that healing work. I'm willing to find out who I am. I'm willing to do this thing alone because I won't live my life unhappy. Some of y'all look like you're willing to live an unhappy life because you don't have some man in your life. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing? What if you cannot, what if a man is not in your destiny for this lifetime? Are you going to live a miserable life? Is that your decision? Is that your decision? It don't look like a man is coming in, so I'm just gonna I'm miserable. I'm gonna live my life from now until I die in misery. Is that your decision? Because the way I'm set up, I could be manless from here to thy kingdom come, but I bet you gonna be looking at me like, dang, that girl living life. How's she living life like that? I won't be miserable. I will not. God didn't put me here to be in no miserable relationship, and he ain't put me here to be miserable single. So if any of that circumstance, I'm going to be happy. That's a decision that you need to make. How do you make yourself happy in spite of? How do you make yourself feel loved and feel seen and feel adored in spite of? Is that possible for you? Again, going back to the asking God, you don't have to ask God about no man or ask God about no woman. Ask God about what you need to do to make yourself the happiest, wholest, loving version of yourself. How do I get there? What if you could be that happy without a partner up under you? And not saying that not saying that we don't want that. Of course we want a companion. Of course we want a lover. Of course we want somebody to snuggle up to. Of course. Of course. But can you figure out your happiness independent? Can you figure out your unconditional happiness? Unconditional happiness independent of that partner. There's a lot of school of thought that says that you have to find the emotional state first. If you can't find your happiness as an individual, you're not going to be able to find your happiness in the relationship. I've heard that. Does that resonate? Does that make sense? Finding your happiness first, recognizing your happiness, knowing your happiness when it's there. Do you know who you are happy? Do you know who you are happy? Independent of a relationship. A lot of us are being asked to know yourself, fall in love with yourself, know your intricacies, know your likes, your dislikes, know your emotional highs and lows, know your triggers. Do your work, heal yourself, be in love with yourself first, and then be in love with somebody else. And then be in love with somebody else. Faith in God, blocking your own pleasure. I talked about this earlier. Blocking your own pleasure because you feel unworthy of it if you're not covered by a man. I remember I went to Paris. I went to Paris with some classmates of mine, and it was in the winter. It was Christmas time, and Paris to me was so romantic. It was so romantic, quintessential old European city, but there was something, it just felt romantic to me. More than London, more than any other place I'd ever been, more than New York, there was more than the Caribbean. There was no other place that I had been that felt so romantic. And this was in 2014. And I remember being there thinking like, damn, where my man at? Like, what? Like, what's the problem? And when I look back at that, it was like so difficult just to enjoy, just to feel worthy of the romance myself, just to feel worthy of the experience myself, not to share with anybody, just to be in it, just to be in the romance, just to be in the experience, just to be in the excitement, just to be in the presence of love myself, with myself. That's a problem for a lot of us. That's a problem for a lot of us. And I didn't recognize it then. It was years later, looking back at all the traveling I had done, all the traveling that I had done, all the time I was like, dang, somebody should be here with me. Like, not fully enjoying it, not fully giving myself permission to be in receptivity to that much happiness, that much bliss, that much romance, that much adventure. I'm not worthy of it independently. I got to share it with somebody else for it to be worthy. That was the limiting belief. That was the underlying thinking of that feeling of, damn, where my nigga at? You know, as simple as you take that. So it was an effort to be like, I don't have to share this amazing moment with anybody. It's me and God. It's me and my higher self. It's me and the divine. It's me and source. I'm worthy of this experience, independent of anybody. Independent of anybody. I can make myself feel good, independent of anybody. Do you know how to make yourself feel good? Do you know how to heal yourself? You. Do you know yourself well enough before you try to step into any relationship and split yourself down the middle, talking about your better half? No, it ain't no better half. It's a whole whole and a whole whole, and we come together and make synergy. Not no two half people. Yeah, blocking your own pleasure. That's been me. I've done that. I've done that. You know what I mean? But being in love with life regardless. I will not suffer in this life. It could be me from I born till I die by myself. I will not suffer in this life. That's not my design. You have to make a decision about your design. What you will tolerate. Will you tolerate sufferation or will you tolerate happiness? You know? Afraid to go it alone. Afraid to go it alone and afraid of failure. There is a huge element of feeling like a failure. A huge element of being like, I'm a failure. I'm not in a relationship. Everybody else is. Something is wrong with me. You know, it's all of that. It seems like this generation, maybe millennials, are not okay with this concept of failing. You always have to have a merit badge. You know what I mean? And you fail at some things. Can you stand in the midst of feeling like a failure and still figure out how to pick yourself back up and still figure out how to navigate, even feeling like things didn't go perfectly for me, or I'm a failure, or I failed at this, or things didn't work out how I thought it should have worked out for me? Are you judging how it worked out for you with your intellect, not understanding the bigger picture, not understand that there is destiny and fate involved, not understanding that things are always working out for you, and that if you had gotten paired up in that relationship now in an unhealed state, you might have been in an abusive relationship that you couldn't get yourself out of. You might have been in a situation that was more dire and more drastic than you being an individual until you figure out how to attract a better mate. Maybe you're single because everything is working out for you. Maybe it's better that you're single right now because the fate that you would have been on, the destiny that you would have been on if you rush into a relationship that wasn't designed for you, is far more drastic and far worse than you being asked to be an individual, be isolated and care for yourself, heal yourself first before we pair you off, because we want this grand vision for you. Your destiny is over here. And until you get to the point where you're healed enough to meet up with your divinely ordained partner and continue on your path, you're going to be in limbo. And that's the best place for you, because otherwise you'd be homeless on the street or something, or strung out or something. You don't know. The only thing that you can think is, okay, everything is always working out for me. So there must be a reason. There must be a reason. God, help me to understand the reason. Or if you cannot help me to understand the reason, help me to make the steps towards my divine union. Help me to do what I need to do internally, to face what I need to face internally. Help me to understand and heal what I need to understand and heal internally for me to be aligned in alignment with my divine partner, the one ordained for me, ordained, not the one I swiped on Tinder and decided to pick because they said they like Starbucks Frappuccino and I do too. Do you want God's or ordained relationship for you, or you want one that you picked? Let me tell you something. I be asking God. I look around. I say, God, let me tell you something. God, if you don't show me exactly who it needs to be, I don't see how I'm supposed to pick it. How am I supposed to pick this? Look around. God, it has to be unequivocally. God got to make it clear. Y'all tell me how you picking. Y'all tell me how you're picking. If you're not asking God to make it clear to you what you need to do and who you need to go with, how you picking? Because the way it's looking out here, I'm like, I can't pick with just these two eyes. I have to be tapped into what God wants for me. And the first things first that he wants for me is for me to heal myself and do my inner work first and be on my path and alignment with my purpose so that my partner can then come in because I'm on my purpose. I'm on my path and not doing other jobs or other things that people said I should be doing that actually don't bring me joy. Being on your divine path overall is a concept that you can think about, right? Being on your divine path overall so that your divine partner can align, because then you're walking an ordained path together. When I say ordained, I mean one that is blessed by the divine, blessed by the universe, blessed by God. Not just one you picked with your weak faculties of of critical thinking. What you think? I don't know. I just think that things have a higher purpose, a higher calling. It's not just pick whatever you think picking because you're looking and that's it. To me, that is like, nah, life is grander than that. Life has more purpose than that. You know, for me at least. For me. All right. I have a couple more things, but we're like an hour already. Let me jump in the comments, see what you guys are talking about. Respond to the comments. Tonight we're talking about a 35-year-old who's still single. She says, I'm 35, and even though she's dated and put herself in position to find quality men, it just doesn't seem to increase my chances of being found. I have a good job, good credit, no kids, and I'm not bad looking. I just don't get it. I don't feel seen, loved, or wanted. I'm feeling kind of hopeless at this point, and I get more and more discouraged with each birthday. Sorry to get all emotional. Thanks for responding. We are responding to sis here, who is 35 and single, and who is, is trying to find love in a hopeless place or something. And so up first, we talked about the emotional state and knowing where you are on the vibrational scale of things, because where you are on the vibrational scale tells you what you are going to attract. Doing the work of moving yourself up the vibrational scale from sadness and hopelessness and unloved and unseen and unwanted to a more neutral position, and in hopes of going more up into bliss and joy and wholeness and happiness and faith and thrill and joy and security within yourself, so that is the partner that you end up attracting. And that God might be keeping you apart from your partner until you do the personal development work necessary, until you turn your gaze inwards towards yourself, know yourself, heal yourself, and then he will align you with your divinely ordained partner. Not pokey them, not swipe left, swipe right, swipe left, not them. Your divinely ordained partner who is to partner with you, to be a force of nature with you on your path, in purpose, both of you. If you believe that there is a greater orchestration to this life thing. If you believe that there is a greater orchestration to this life thing. Let's jump in the comments. I haven't been paying attention to the comments. I've been seeing y'all going, how the hair looks good. Matthew W says that is such a good point on narcissism. There we were talking about, if you get into a relationship from a place of being unloved, unwanted, and unseen, you're going to end up with somebody likely who has those issues or who feeds on those issues. So that's the reason why the divine might be saying, no, it's not time for you to be in a relationship yet, because I don't want you to be in that state and then wedge yourself to some narcissist who feeds on that darker energy. So everything is always working out for you. Do your inner work first and then align with your partner. That's what I'm experimenting with. As you can see, sis is single. Single, okay? It is all an experimentation at this point. You know what I mean? But as far as I can see, this is my feeling and thinking and what my intuitive state is around 35 and single, 45 and single, 55 and single, 30 and single. Obviously, TikTok, people be sending me TikToks, 25-year-olds, a ball. I thought I would. 25? I'm like, if y'all don't go sit down somewhere and go travel, what, 25? But the girls is out here crying. And I think it's more than your beauty and your femininity. I think it's beauty and femininity and all of that. But it is also your personal development and your inner work. And knowing yourself. All right. Lauren Kincaid is saying, preaching right now. Come on, sis. Matthew W., listen to you preaching about struggle love. Amen, Kels. Cynthia in the building. Yes, Kels. Hello. Hey, sis. Hey. Love acupuncture. Acupuncture helps with fertility. Acupuncture helps with Crohn's. Acupuncture helps with irritable bowel syndrome. Acupuncture helps with a lot of things. Look into it. And if you know someone struggling with infertility or any of those chronic diseases or issues, consider sharing with them acupuncture. Sankia says, I'm 37, single, no kids, and nobody gonna rush me. Listen, you gotta make yourself happy. You have to live your life. Yes, lonely sometimes. That's a part of life. I think we have a hard time going through the true emotions of being alive. Grief is a part of being alive. Loneliness is a part of being alive. Happiness, joy, bliss is a part of being alive. It's an experience on this plane. You know what I mean? And so, yes, it's uncomfortable. 100%. No, don't nobody languish in it and love it. No. But on some level, you have to be in awe of it. You have to be in awe of life and how it unfolds. It's such a short amount of time. Pull your perspective back. Instead of being in the midst of it and in the turmoil of it, pull your vision back. If you were watching a movie, if you were watching your life as if you were watching a movie, how would you look? How would you feel? What would you as the audience want for you as the, protagonist? Pull yourself out of the everyday of your life and look at your life from a 1,000-foot lens, from a like if you're looking at a movie. Analyze your life from there. It's really interesting, and it's, you can be in awe of life, the harder parts and the lighter parts. There's this concept, they say, the hero's journey. The hero's journey. And it's where all of us go through in our life, where you kind of go through the period of, being born and then learning and being conditioned to certain things, and then recognizing that those conditionings aren't serving you, and then having to let them go and going through some turmoil and turbulence, and then coming back to yourself. This is called the hero's journey. And I feel like some of us have a journey around love that is like this hero's journey. You're going through a process. You're going through an awakening. You're going through trials and tribulations in order to elevate yourself and grow yourself. Be okay with your soul's evolution. Be okay with the hero's journey of your story. Main character energy. If you were the main character in your movie, be okay with your movie playing out. Be okay with your movie playing out. Be in love with your life, regardless. I found myself, one of the biggest things that I felt like was stifling me and my love life and my story was, look at me, was I was judging the process. I talked about this a few weeks ago. Judging the process, being critical of my own life process, being critical of why it's taking so long. Where is he? What's happening? What am I doing wrong? Instead of just bringing my awareness to the process and saying, okay, where are we now? Try to pull back your critical eye off of your own process. Recognize your own process of evolution, your own process of your story, your hero's journey, your main character energy, your storyline. Instead of being so critical of your storyline, be in awe of it. Be in awe of it. Expect it to turn out in your favor. Go through it with a lightness and a heart and a buoyancy. Try to do that. You know what I mean? Instead of feeling like this failure, instead of feeling unloved, uncared for, that's not your story. Can you let go of those old stories? Can you let go of that old woundedness? Can you let go of that old woundedness? Can you let go of those old abandonment issues? Can you go with the flow a little bit more in your life? Can you go with a little bit more hopefulness that your hero's journey, your storyline, your main character energy will turn out in your favor? Can you face your destiny? What if your destiny is to be single this lifetime? Can you face that and still figure out a way to make yourself happy? To still be in love with your life? To still be in love with yourself? Can you do that? Ask yourself that honestly. Honestly, can I still be in love with my life even though it doesn't turn out exactly how I think it should? I'm getting a lot of you preaching. DB in the building. What's up, DB? Who this? Can I have your number, ma'am? Hell no. But thank you for being here. DB is here. Lauren saying she's taking notes, sis. All right, sis. Know thyself. Know thyself. Matthew W., have a good evening, boo. Thank you for being here. I hope she's watching. Oh, she probably will. And if she's not watching now, she might be watching on Replay Gang. Replay Gang is strong around here. Whether you're catching us live or whether you're catching us on Replay Gang. Love the engagement. Love that you guys are chiming in. We're learning from the collective wisdom of the It's Counts community, showing support, coming back to our roots. Talking about dating. I'm 35 and still single. What's wrong? What's the problem? I'm losing hope. I'm unloved, unwanted, unworthy, and all of these things. How do we move ourselves up the emotional scale to be better in alignment with what we truly want? How do we recognize that where you are emotionally will dictate what you attract? Law of attraction. Another thing, hold on, what's Santhia saying? I love that concept. I felt that I'm coming to an end of an era living downtown and moving into my house soon. Right. Sometimes these things, you have to recognize, and I love that. I love that for you, sis. Sometimes you're being, it's a certain period of time. That's another thing. On this channel, we talk a lot about death of the old you, death of the old you, of the old version of yourself, knowing when to move on, knowing when to close a chapter. Sometimes what's also stifling you from your relationship is other parts of your life. I talked about the career for me, right? It's like, oh, I think my career is stifling my love life. Why would your career stifle you in your love life? Because I didn't know when to close a chapter, because I didn't know when to move on, because I wasn't trusting what my intuition was telling me. So I wasn't ready for the type of relationship I want. I wasn't ready. I'm not ready. I'm not in it. I'm not in a relationship I want. Therefore, I'm not ready for the type of relationship. So that means I need to do more work, more personal growth, listen to my intuition better, know when to close chapters, know when to move on, know to trust myself to follow what my heart wants me to do, not only what I think is intellectually sound. Your soul, the divine, doesn't speak through you through your intellectual mind. It speaks to you through your heart. Speaks to you through your heart, through your intuitive body, your gut, your body. So if you're getting the sense that, oh, it's time for me to buy a house, it's time to move on, and you also know that I'm looking for a relationship, I'm open for a relationship, you never know. Those two might be connected. Spirit might be like, oh, when she gets the courage to do the next thing in her path, the next thing on her purpose, the next thing in her journey, which might be to buy the house or change the job or get back in the gym or introduce meditation, introduce meditation, introduce meditation, introduce meditation, introduce meditation into my daily practice. That is when she'll be ready for her mate. That is when he'll be ready for his mate. So knowing when to follow your intuition, knowing when to close doors, knowing when to let go of the old and move on to the new. One thing I had to talk to a friend about today was you don't always know what the next thing is immediately. Sometimes you have to close a bunch of doors just so that they're closed, so that you can have a period of peace and quiet and a period of unknown so that the next opportunity can come in. So just because you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing next in your next chapter or your next step or your next movement, but you're sure that this one doesn't fit you, sometimes it's just about closing that door and being in limbo for a little bit until the new thing opens up. It's not always jumping from what you don't like to what you do like or the new thing. Sometimes there is a period of unknown and a period of limbo to make room and rest and relaxation to make room for the new to come in. And that new to come in might put you into better alignment with the partner that you're looking for, with the partner that you're seeking, because it proves that you're able to let go. You're able to move on. Remember those mini deaths that we talk about, how life is a whole bunch of mini deaths until the big one? And it's probably not even that big. Are you able to move on? Are you able to follow the intuitive nudges? Are you able to serve yourself first? Are you able to step out on faith? Are you able to let go? All of these are little lessons that you have to learn before you get with your big prize. Right now, we're talking about the big prize as a relationship, as love, as a partner, as a husband, as a wife. But for some people, that big prize is money. That big prize is fitness or health. That big prize is a career. All of us, as I said earlier in the broadcast, have different big prizes. All of us have different big prizes. Tonight, we're talking about dating. We're talking about love is the big prize. Big prize. Yeah. Rubes is saying, say it. Closure brings space and clarity to exist within the unknown. You have to be a little bit comfortable with that unknown. I will tell you, unknown is scary. Right now, I'm sitting thick in the unknown, just don't know what, except a feeling that all is well. That's it. Just holding on to that feeling that all is well. But a lot of things, different, unknown, you know. So we'll see how it turns out. Experimental phase, as I said. Good and Rich is saying, my prize is a house. My prize is a house. When you're able to do what's necessary to get to your four walls and to your stability, until your home, that might open up another door for other opportunities and other things that you also want to come in. But it's almost a little bit of a path. It's not linear. You know what I mean? It's not logical. It's not like how they teach us first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. That's why I think the whole career thing for me kind of correlates to relationships, even though it's like, where is the logic there? But it doesn't, everything doesn't have to be Newtonian. It doesn't have to be Newtonian. Sometimes some things are not Newtonian. Anyway, I feel like I've been rambling on, but I definitely want us to get us back into our roots and talk about this dating, single life from the perspective, from a little bit more elevated spiritual inner work, inner journey, inner frontier perspective. Because I think that's what's missing from the conversation. There's a lot of conversations about what you need to dress, what you need to wear, why these women are undesirable and these women are desirable and these men are alpha males and these men are beta males and these men, a lot of that foolishness, external talk, not enough internal work and understanding what the nudges are from the spirit realm. What are they asking us to do? What's being held away from you until you do what you're supposed to do? You know what I mean? How do you connect? How do you connect and figure out, okay, individually, what should I be doing? What should I be looking for? How should I be healing myself? From the spiritual inner perspective, turn your gaze inwards. I do these videos so you're not out here alone in this sometimes crazy living, loving, dating world. If this is your first time here, I'd love to have you subscribe. If you're an oldie but a goodie, good looking out, this is week 45 of our Friday Night Kickbacks, where we go live each and every Friday night to talk about the topics you guys want to talk about. Tonight, we're talking about dating, single world, how we can shift our perspective, how we can move up the vibrational scale to align with the divinely ordained love that is designed and destined for each one of us individually. If you guys are looking in the description box below, I have a little bit of a sneak preview of a course that I have been working on for quite a while. And the course is called Travel Alchemy Masterclass. And the reason why I decided to do that course and put some effort into getting all the knowledge and the wisdom into this one kind of packaged video course is because travel was extremely pivotal, extremely transformative to me. So if you're sitting here listening to this conversation about relationships and about love and about turning your gaze inward and figuring out what you like, and you kind of have the sense that travel has been calling you, it's not a coincidence. It's not frivolous. If travel has been calling you, you're being called towards some sort of elevation. And if you want help navigating that, check out my course in the link before. I actually am previewing it for you guys since you're at the end of the live and you've been riding with me for 45 weeks. So I do have a little bit of a discount code. And the discount code is earlybird20, all one word. So if you're interested in supporting me, if you're interested in following a deep desire, urge, a longing to travel, and you didn't even realize that that's really what you wanted to do, but now you're like, yes, I actually do want to travel, and I actually have been being called to travel. And where do I start? Like, should I travel by myself? What does this mean? If any of those questions, if you're burnt out at work and you just want to get on a plane and go somewhere, if you do for everybody else but yourself, if any of those sound like you, the course might be interesting to you. So check out the link in the description box below travelalchemymasterclass.com. Discount code earlybird20, the number 20. And yeah, slide in my DMs or my email if you have any questions about anything. Smash the like button. Smash that like button. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Look at this. I know I'm not alone with you, Kels. Love you. Love you. Truth, high pies is so different for each of us. Love the collective. And thank you, Kels, for guiding us. Look at you guys showing so much love. Smash the like button. Santhia said, y'all heard her. So much love. Travel Alchemy Masterclass. A lot of you guys have been waiting a long time for this course. It is here. Next week, you're going to see content galore. I did do a little bit of a road trip across the Western United States. So travel content is coming back next week. So if you've been missing our travel content, if you've been missing our dating content, we're getting back to our roots on the channel. So check out travelalchemymasterclass.com and also keep an eye on this channel. All next week is travel content galore. It's following our bliss to travel. Yes, for the travel course. Come on, sis. Early bird 20 for your 20% discount. We already have some folks in the building who have seen the course, who are in the course, who purchased the course. So we're getting cosigns immediately. Immediately. Website's looking amazing. Sign up for the newsletter. There's a newsletter in there too if you want to hear about other courses. But I definitely want you guys to support the thing. Sign up for the course. Look at the videos. Look at the intros. It's well done, if I do say so myself. Good content in there. We'll talk more about it next week. With that being said, I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight, bearing with me as we ranted about being single and 35. I just want to close by saying this. Definitely empathy for those of us who are feeling like might be something not quite right and why we are not with our partner. And yes, it makes sense to be a little bit sad and a little bit like, what's going on, or asking the questions. But just by you asking the questions means that there's answers there for you. And I would say turn internal for those answers. Go to God, go to your higher being, universe, source, and ask for the clarity, ask for the encouragement, ask for the love, ask for the support to get on your path towards your divine union, your divine partnership. It's there for you. You just have to know yourself, know thyself. With that being said, good night. See you guys next week. And check out the channel all next week for travel content galore. It's launch week. Early bird 20 for your discount for the Travel Alchemy Masterclass in the description box below. Bye, guys.